Hey,
Back again.
back again. It's your boy Easy.
It's your boy Ryan.
Woo, and welcome to Turtle Soup, the world's only community-supported podcast, YouTube channel, lifestyle guides through the entire journey of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that we're just so dedicated, like with our heart, soul, and mind, blood, sweat, everything you can imagine about a human body. We put into this what you are witnessing.
Yes.
Just all of it.
Preach.
All the way from the beginning. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Genesis. Until the pool boy will service my chi pool, Ryan. Can't get him to do it.
pH right.
Can't get it right. Can't get the pH
right.
Get
a pH right because they're gonna. Yeah, because
he pronounces
if it gets cloudy chi pool.
Cloudy chi pool. Yeah, no, he pronounces it pho. You can't get my pho right. So yeah, it's weird, but whatever.
Preach.
But speaking of preaching, speaking of spitting, we're spitting on YouTube right now, live. You can touch us if you touch your screen, you'll be healed and you'll feel a lot of stuff. Yeah. So we're on YouTube.
Chew. Subscribe on YouTube.
The scat man. I wonder if speaking in tongues is like a cousin to scatting. I think that might be a thing.
Oh damn.
We'll have to look into that. But if
someone starts scatting in a club in like the 40s and in New Orleans, all of a sudden they start speaking Aramaic.
Right. It's like, oh
that's
shit, get out of there. No, that's not.
Get out of there.
No.
That ain't great.
No.
Let's go.
But speaking of what is great, we're here on YouTube Live, so like, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. And if you want to be a part of it, if you're just the audio listener, which is fine, we appreciate you and love you, but you can come be a part of this and see our ugly mugs on your TV, phone, or device that you witness this on. And be sure to share this and let people know you like us talking about Ninja Turtles. And speaking of people that we like and that also like hearing us talk about the Ninja Turtles, that would be our wonderful patrons. And they bring you all of this good stuff. Like you, the listener, the viewer, are in a high chair of sorts. You're not necessarily a baby, but you might be if you want to be.
But high chair.
But
Delayed reaction there.
Our patrons are the facilitator of the spoon that is flying this into your mouth. Like somehow this makes sense.
Yeah, our patrons they're the airplane.
They're the airplane. There we go. That works. And the pilots of tonight's episode are Blade Singer 71113 and Noah Overton. So thank y'all very much for piloting this spoonful into the mouths of the baby birds across the world.
Airplane.
Well, speaking of things that are coming, Ryan, what are we coming up on tonight in the journey?
Oh, we're going to be coming everywhere. It is Ninja Turtles, The Next Mutation. This is episode 6, The Staff of Bukai. You know what I'm saying? From October 17th of 1997. Ooh. We are finally out of the East meets West thing, and we are in our own episodes. And you'll see. You'll see what's up with this episode because
it's something.
A lot of transitions.
A lot of them. Man. So how you been, Ryan? Been a minute.
Oh man, I've been good. I have some stuff, but I'm aware of time, so I'm gonna try to blast through it. Okay, here we go. Right?
Okay, blast through it.
Lightning round. Got to see AJR. You ever heard that band, AJR?
Oh, Father Preston was telling me about it because I think did you see him at the baseball game?
Yeah. They played the baseball game.
Okay,
So immediately, Shen Preston went. It was really fun.
Neat.
They did a really good show. I think that the highlight was seeing how much Alicia had fun. She got really into them beforehand, just like listening to them and stuff, trying to get all
Oh,
she's a good student. You know what I mean? She had to get prepped up, and she had a damn blast. And I think that was probably the most fun part I had. You know
watching somebody else love something is amazing.
Yes.
Like that was me seeing Michael.
Awesome.
I saw Michael McDonald's love Coheed live more than I did, and then that made me love all of that more. That whole equation more. Yeah, I get it.
100%. And they put on a hell of a show, and it was great. I got to throw the ball around the field because we were down on the field.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, I've never thrown the ball on the field before. So we were throwing the ball until the mean old lady came over and said, "There's too many people. You can't throw the baseball." I'm like, "Listen to me. I'm 40 years old." No, I didn't say that. I should have. so then we just did ground balls. It was a lot of fun. And then the show was good. So there was that. Got to meet Eric Larson because who's a historical nonfiction author. Wrote a lot of good books.
Right.
Because we had where I work, we had our like charity dinner thing we have every year. Yeah. We always have like a celebrity come out.
Right.
And it was really cool because this is so strange how this worked out, but we're going to Chicago. Alicia and I.
Yeah.
And my wife,
yes.
Alicia. And we're going to Chicago, and it just so happened that Eric Larson wrote a book called The Devil in the White City, which is all about the 1893 World's Fair and H.H. Holmes, the serial killer. Like it kind of like traces the Daniel Burnham, the guy who the chief architect of the whole World's Fair thing. And how they built it.
Yeah.
And H.H. Holmes, because H.H. Holmes actually brought 2 of his victims to the World's Fair when it was there. And he had like his little murder castle he had. He converted the top floor to hotel rooms for World's Fair attendees. So they are connected in a weird way. Really good book. And then I got to talk to him and just asked him like, hey, if I have a day in Chicago to like walk around and try to see some stuff that's related, what would you suggest? And we had a really good conversation. It was really cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. There's obviously not a lot left from the 1893 World's Fair. You know what I'm saying? Because
it's been a minute, but still,
it's been a minute. Plus, the buildings were not built to be permanent.
Right.
They were made of like wood and stuff. They weren't like made of stone or whatever, because that's how they would have built, or bricks is how they would have built it before. But there's some stuff still there. The Museum of Science and Industry, I'm excited about seeing, because it's basically a retrofitted version of what was the Palace of Fine Arts in 1893 World's Fair.
Is it anything like
rebuilt it?
Is it anything like our Mosey?
No, because it looks like. It's a massive building. It's almost hard to like. I haven't seen it. There's just pictures. It's like huge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they cut out like lagoons out of Lake Michigan and shit for this thing. It was like,
oh dang,
the stuff they did for the World's Fair was insane. Just hearing about it's wild. So we got to talk a little bit and stuff. He gave me some pointers of like what to go see and stuff. So I'm really excited about that. So I got to meet him. That was super cool.
That's cool.
And then. This is so strange. Okay, I don't know if you ever had anything like this happen to you. This is super weird.
Okay.
You ready? This is really weird.
I think so.
So, I'm at the eye doctors, like I do, and they have lifesaver mints, like at the little thing.
Okay.
And I went like, man, I haven't had a lifesaver mint in like 20 ass years. I was like, I'm gonna get one. I'm not a big candy guy, but I'll get it.
It's not worth it.
It was wintergreen, and like. It was good as shit.
Oh, dang.
And I had this memory where I was like, man, I used to eat the hell out of these.
Yeah.
But I stopped, I think, because like I ate them too much.
Oh, of course.
Like, they're too much.
Out. Yeah.
So I went and got another one. And I knew, I was like, this is a bad turn. Like, in that time, I go, if I eat another one of these, I'm going to want to go buy a bag of them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So I ate it. And 100%. The next time I was at the store,
that's exactly what you did.
I bought a bag. Now here's this. This is the weird part.
Okay.
So I was like, if I get that wintergreen, I'm gonna be just down. I'm be in the tank. I'm gonna be down the tubes on this shit. Like it
There's no time.
So I'm gonna get the orange ones.
Ooh, mixing it up. Okay.
They're really good in their own way. They taste a lot like the orange Tic Tacs, which is an addiction that you could easily get into.
Oh yeah,
bad.
Yeah. We see it all the time at the courthouse.
Sick on orange Tic Tacs is bad.
Yeah,
I'm on these things, and the thing about them is that, and people listening or that eat them are familiar. They have enough. They have just a little bit of mint. There's not a lot. It's mostly orange, but the orange tastes like it's just a little far away from you. Like it's just like at a remove.
Just
it makes you want more.
Yeah.
It's almost like the orange flavor is like on a stick hanging right in front of your face. And you could almost get a lot more orange flavor if you just had another one.
Interesting.
It's almost like it was engineered to be that addicting. Huh. And it is incredibly addicting. I'm eating myself sick on them.
Oh, my goodness.
It's hard not to eat one right now. I'm on the podcast. I'm like, well, that'd be kind of disrespectful. I mean, even though back in the day, you eat donuts on the podcast. But
that's true. Even the ones that fell on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. We fixed ourselves up a little bit. We're polished ourselves up
a little bit.
But it's hard. I have like 3 of them on my desk, and I just keep looking at them.
Man, well, I'm proud of the restraint you're exercising here on.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
TV.
Yeah, I'm after this is over, I'm probably gonna like just like mainline like 5 of them.
Oh my goodness! You know, sometimes you got to do it. It's the sacrifices you make for the show, and we appreciate it.
It's hard because lately I've stepped it up a little, and I'm like, a few times I've just eaten 2 at once to get more flavor.
You double dipped? Dang. Did more flavor? Did it work? Kind
of, but then it felt like
you're doubling your pleasure.
I am doubling my pleasure and my fun, but the problem is, then it felt like there were 2 sticks in front of me with 2 oranges, and if I just caught it, I'd have double the orange all the time.
Right. But could you go back?
It's like,
did you go back to 1 and that was enough, or did you need to? Okay.
Yeah, I went back to 1 and it was enough. But the 2, I did it a couple times. I was like, you can't do that again.
Yeah,
that's really bad. It's really bad.
Right.
So yeah.
Well,
so now I'm thinking about how I'm going to maintain my habit when I'm in Chicago. Like, I better buy another bag and put it in my thing and be like, Ryan, like, calm down.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
that's insane.
I mean,
but I don't know if you've ever had that moment where you swore off of a food or something, and then you were like, I'll just have it one time. Yeah. And then you go, oh no, and then you're back on it. But that's where I'm at. I used to the more I eat these, the more I remember I used to wear out some wintergreen lifesavers. Dude, it was really bad.
Goodness.
And I literally it's almost like how like they always lock away Ganon. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like Ganon gets locked deep beneath the earth. They locked Ganon away deep beneath the earth. Shit, he's back.
Back.
That's basically what I did. Like it's like, oh, back in the olden times, they sealed away the wintergreen lifesavers, you know. But he's returned, like everything smells like wintergreen. Like, yeah.
Man.
That's me.
Goodness. Well, I'm glad you're at least you're aware. At least you're conscious of the pitfalls that you are before you. So that is to say something.
Yes.
Man. Well, yeah, I again, apologies for the delay in episodes. I've been super busy with all kinds of work stuff and just other things. I did manage to find some time to actually get the Patreon stuff. Let me see if I can get them in the screen. We got some fun Patreon things that I made, and so hopefully those will be going out soon. And then before you know it, it'll be next month, and it'll be time for the next batch to go out. But yeah, apologies to our patrons who've been waiting patiently, and thank you so much again for your patronage. But yes, I managed to get those taken care of, and then just been doing easy open stuff on the YouTube channel, getting that going, doing all the Mutanimals. That's been fun, and people have been saying good things about that. So thank you for all of you who've done that. And I think you went to a show the same night that Shannon, my wife, and I went to another show in Tampa. We went and saw this band from Orlando called Cathedral Bells, and they're a fun little shoegaze band. So that was really neat, and really dug all their stuff. But what was funny was that, how, and we talked about this ages ago, but you know how when you wear shirts to places, sometimes you plan your shirt, and because you might want to have a conversation, or like you're just like, I want to talk about this, so I might wear it and see what happens. So I wore my Kamen Rider Amazon shirt, and sure enough, the guitarist for that band was like, "Oh, is that Kamen Rider?" And you could just see the eye roll in Shannon's. Like, not that she minds, but she just thought it was funny that like oh are you serious? Yeah, like, oh my god, like how did that actually happen? And so we talked about them for a minute, and he's like, I've seen the fruit one, the one with the belt with the knife that they and I was like, oh yeah,
let it go.
So but then we started talking about bands, and I was like, oh yeah, my band, because I was trying to be like, dude, my band would love to play with y'all. I was like, my band, the Paperback Whale, it's a Moby Dick joke. And he's like, oh, Moby Dick. So then your boy's like, you ever read Bone? And I'm like, huh? Bone? Oh shit. Just things I was not expecting to talk about at a show with someone who's probably like half my age now.
Oh, yep, I read that phone book.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. And yes, then he shows me his tattoo of Thorn, and I'm like, oh snap, that's awesome. So that was really cool. But the problem that I faced was, as you know, I'm a drummer, and watching them play, they were playing the Headliners kit, which was a little like weird small kit, and their drummer's excellent, and he was doing all kinds of cool stuff. Well, the drum stand, it wasn't because like mine, I think, and Shane's, the ones that your brother and I play, they have the
It's called a throne.
No.
The drum throne.
No. This is hold on, baby bird. I'm gonna feed you. So it's so the side of the tom, the floor tom, that he used a stand for that, like a drum stand, like that. That's kind of what I meant. So yeah. Sorry, I should have said that better. But yeah, the floor tom that I'm used to has the thing, the legs on the side of it. Yeah, it's built in. This was just a stand that you put a floor tom on, and the bottom like went out on the stand, so it was just like wobbling. And yeah, he couldn't figure out how to play. So I'm watching it happen from the stage. This is at Hooch and Hive, a place in Tampa that's like the stage is like just like 6 inches up from the floor. So I'm like, do I go up and hold it? Do I go do that? I don't know. Like, he's looking for help from anybody, but I'm like, is that my responsibility? Do I take that on myself? I don't know. I have such anxiety about this, and I didn't do anything, Ryan. I sat back, and I was like, no, I can't.
You were like Phil Collins watching that kid drown.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly what I felt like. Now, I will say that if there was a clear way for me to get to him, I would have done it. However, I would have had to interrupt the whole stage to get in there because I couldn't go by the sides. I kick the bottom and
it's only a hand.
Only a hand.
Yeah.
So, but I was like,
they found you at McDonald's.
They found you at McDonald's, exactly. I was like, I had so much anxiety, and then to further add to all of my angst and all the other emotions I was feeling that night, the guitarist tells me that so that Sunny Day Real Estate show that I didn't go to, that I had Jake buy us merchandise from when they came to his town, turns out this band opened for Appleseed Cast, who opened for Sunny Day Real Estate. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, that night could not have gotten any worse. But I mean, to find out another really good local band. Just things keep coming back. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. So I know now, like, if there's a band I want to go see that's within driving distance, I have to. I can't not do it now. So there's that.
So I had a similar feeling when we went to see Charlie Bliss in Atlanta. And it was like at midnight, after Shaky Knees, and like they had their guitar set up, and Eva's guitar, she was playing a Mustang. Yeah. And her low E string was pinned, like it gotten caught underneath the saddle.
Yeah.
Because you know how like those Mustang and Jazzmaster bridges are, the individual saddle ones, like the bridge, it got pinned under there, which is very common.
Right.
And it was sitting like in front of me on a guitar stand.
Yeah.
And I could have, because we were right up front, I could have reached up and fixed it, but it would have required me to kind of stretch enough that would look like I was messing with the guitar. Does that make any sense?
It does. It does.
If it was closer and it was within, like, if I just stood normal at the stage and just reached my arm out and could fix it, it'd be nothing. Right. I'd have to belly over just a little bit and reach out, but I could reach it.
Right.
And I didn't fix it. I wanted to, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And then she played the entire show with that low E string pinned.
Oh.
And I just thought, and it's weird because it sounded fine, but I mean, it's hard because it's just really loud and there's no guitarist. So I don't know how much for her I was hearing, but I was kind of like, I could have fixed it.
Yeah. Could have fixed it.
Man, and then afterwards we met him and talked to him, and I felt guilty at the end because then we watched Waxahachie with them. We were partying with them and shit. And the whole time I felt like if I would have fixed it.
Did they know?
I could have said, oh, no, they never said
anything about it. Okay,
but
good.
I mean, because only I noticed this shit. So I'm like, well, I would have felt better, but then I felt like almost like a bit of a traitor because then we were hanging out and laughing and shit. And back in my head, I'm like, I could have fixed it.
Could have fixed it. Exactly.
I didn't fix it.
See, Cathedral Bells
my
had
Phil Collins moment.
Exactly. Yeah. You could have saved him, but yeah, they had to cut their set a little short. But thankfully, they played a bunch of songs. But it was their CD release party or record release party or whatever.
Oh, cool.
And yeah. But it's very telling if I just roll up and immediately buy every record you have. I was like, dang, I'm gonna buy all of these. How much is that? $500? Okay, cool. Let's do it. No, it wasn't that much.
Yeah, that's how it was when we saw Demons in Lakeland. Like,
they're really good too.
Demons. I was like, I'll buy that album, I'll buy the shirt, I'll buy the whatever. Like, you guys were fun.
And then you're like, oh, well, let me get into whatever else their band is into, or their band members are associated acts. Oh, May. Oh, that's a drastically different, different spectrum of bands. But yeah, there's that. And then one more quick thing before we get into all this. The opener of that show had a saxophonist, and it was amazing.
Word.
Then the church that I worked at, we got together with a local, I don't know a better way to say it, but a black church that is, if you don't know, black churches have better music. They have a different style of praise and worship and whatnot, and it's really cool. It's
Probably
different than a lot of stereotypical traditional churches that you'll see.
Yeah, no, like black church fucking rocks, dude.
It does.
Like,
It does. It's great.
White
And
church, I'm like, all right, another one in 3-4.
right. Well,
you know?
yeah. And like ours does really cool stuff. Like it's modern and it's got some like a lot of technical stuff that's really cool. But theirs is a lot more loose and freeing, and stereotypically speaking, of course. And nevertheless, somehow the two pastors of both our church and the other church got together, and they were like, we need to do something. So they did, and I got to do the sound for it, but for like streaming, of course. But they had a saxophonist, so that's how I'm tying it in. It was amazing.
Oh damn!
So Ryan, am I going to become a sax man? Because I feel like I need to get a sax.
You might have to become a sax man.
I might have to become a sax man. Like
AJR had a trumpet player live.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She pulled a shit ton of weight too. Because you might say, oh, a band like AJR, okay, so they're like contemporary, like, what do you call them? Like electronic.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't get to
They're
listen
basically
to them.
like, so AJR is basically like, it sounds a lot like fun.
Oh, okay.
Like, which is where I think I like them. Like, because they sound like fun, which
Nate's
that gets
really
me
good.
back.
Yeah, to the format.
Yeah, that gets me all the way back to the other band.
The format,
right?
Yeah.
So I hear all that coming through it,
mm-hmm.
and you might think, okay, but like they sound like very electronic a lot of times.
Yeah.
No, man, this sax player or this trumpet player, she was destroying shit. It was amazing, just a solo and hit trumpet. It sounded so good.
Well,
what's up with these horn players, man?
Horn players. I'm all about horn players.
The horn.
Why didn't
one of us ever do it?
When we just so
I was traumatized by
I was blowing other
personally.
Things. You were.
I've like
Scott touched you in a bad place.
Scott touched me in a bad way. So I was like funny with horns for a hot minute. I would say that like what reignited my horn stuff was probably Neutral Milk Hotel.
Oh, okay.
Like, because I got hit really hard with guys. The ska thing was really bad.
I love ska. I never stopped loving ska.
I know.
Like I will rep ska till what's the Reno 9 or the,
I know.
I
wish I could have
Brooklyn 99 thing that that he's like, I will never stop loving ska. And yeah.
No,
but
I
horns,
feel it.
I can meet you with
They're
horns.
great.
Horns are great, and they just
horns are great when they come back. Yes.
So I asked my boss.
Now I flip the other way on horns.
I asked my boss, I was like, hey, what we got to do to get a saxophonist? And he goes, saxophonists like that don't generally like to read music. Or what he meant is that they like to improvise and just play like kind of in the scale. And he's the guy that we have is more of a we played a click track in MIDI and we do all these tracks.
Rules.
Yeah, because if we don't, everyone else gets messed up. And I understand it, but still, it's so much better.
My grandfather ran the Forest Hills church choir and was also the music director and stuff for like the music as well.
Yeah.
And what they did was like ridiculously great, honestly. But he was also very that way. Like they would have the Easter service, the Christmas service, they bring in like a full band. So you had like the string section, like a quartet. You had usually trombone and trumpet. You had all this stuff, drummer, whole 9 yards. And their service was very traditional normally.
Yeah.
And he was very like stick by the book. I think I was telling you, like, he didn't even like it when people clapped.
Oh,
like to him, that was like really bad.
Yeah.
Like people would want to because it was really fucking good. I was always trying to tell him, I was like, dude, I was like, look, like, and you say like, I don't, I'll take the clap. And you could tell you turn around and kind of go like, like bow a little bit, but like he didn't like that in church. He always just thought that no matter what it was, no matter how grand it was, you're not supposed to. I mean, no one claps after the doxology. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like no one claps after normal church music. And he was like, "Why are you clapping in church?"
Right.
But
it's a joyful noise. But I get it.
Well, that's the craziest part. They pull off this wild shit, and like, it was amazing and powerful as hell. Your boy had like a tear in the eye and everything. How are people supposed not to like clap, dude? Like it's like against. it's like somehow like against like our instincts or something. It was really crazy.
Yeah.
But he hated that.
Man.
But he was very much like you said, like by the book.
Yeah,
Like he would not have somebody like, oh, here we go, like he wouldn't have been down with that. He'd be like, no, I'm out.
So so let me know, guys, in the chat, or email us turtlesoup@gmail.com if you're a sax man, and I need to know some tips. Like what can we do? Should I even go down that path? I did a quick Amazon search. Ryan, they come in colors. You can get all kinds of colors. And
nice.
They look tacky except for the purple one, which looks like you'd be playing in Prince's band. But I'm like, I don't think I can do that. Nice. But I think I'm going to probably try to say, a white one would be great.
White sax would be ridiculous.
Now, you might be wondering, like, why doesn't Eric just get black? Because I have told my wife that we can't buy any more black stuff. Because when you live with a goth princess, if you lose anything, it's gone forever. You just can't find it. Yeah.
I in my younger days bought everything in black. And when we had our cat still gets lost on shit.
Oh yeah.
We happened to get an all black cat.
Yeah.
Pitch black. And then when she was really little, it was dangerous because she could just hide in the shadow of the couch.
Oh, of course.
And you wouldn't see her.
Wouldn't see her. Mm-mm.
And because like we have like leather couches, you know how different textures of things reflect different amounts of light.
Oh yeah, sure.
Well, it turns out her black fur and that black leather reflect the same shade and amount of light, so she just blends in. So the glare is the same.
Right.
And yet we still lose her on shit.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes she could be laying on the dining room table. It's black.
Yeah.
And from a certain angle, I'm like, where's the cat?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see her.
Then then the table blinks at you, and you're like, oh, snap, there it is.
Whoa!
Yeah. Man. Well, speaking of blinking.
October 17th, 1997. That's correct. It's chilly. If you're in New York, you're like, man, why is it still cold? Why is it starting getting so cold so soon? If you're in Florida, it's 100.
It is.
And it's fine because when we all go inside, it's nice and 72 degrees while we're watching Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, the 6th episode of this season, entitled The Staff of Bukai. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
This was written by Ramon Perosian, and directed by Michael Mazzo. And once again, Ramon, if I messed that name up, I'm sorry.
Hey.
What do I do about it? You know what
can only do so much.
Perosian. Perosian's kind of a cool last name.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a verb.
It does. So
as a really, there's almost no so basically kind of needed here. If you know anything about the basic plot, we've kind of reset things. Dragon Lord and Wick still hanging out with the rank, got their ass whipped last time at the end of East Meets West. Can't really get her done. They're just hanging out in Warehouse Castle, trying to come up with more crazy plans. Venus is fully in the fold with the Turtles now and has kind of proved herself, and they've accepted her, and she's gotten to accept them. But they still have their differences, right? And this episode, once again, keys back on some differences between Venus and not her brothers, actually, just her other turtle friends.
Right.
And that's almost all you need to know. It's weird.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Just that she's magical. Like she's got the
she has the chi magic. We get a lot more into the chi magic here. And the revelation at the end of East Meets West was Leo kind of like coming full circle on, hey, it turns out that everybody, like all of our individual stuff, because the East Meets West was really fraught with a lot of individual fights between Raph and Leo, and then the Turtles versus Venus and all this stuff. And Leo kind of realizes, hey, basically gives the mission statement of the show, which is all of our differences make us all sides of the same awesome coin, basically. And like, and that's like what we're like doing here. And that's why we're all here.
Yeah.
So that being said, trying to nab that scepter, baby.
Ooh.
So we open up. The Turtles are all meditating in their sewer lair. You know what I mean? Like boom, boom, wow. You know what I mean? There's a lot of that happening, even though they're meditating. It's really weird. And they're all meditating in the lair. That's all you see. Back in Doom Castle warehouse, that looks like something that the Biltmores would have built or something. I don't know what this building is. It's kind of killing me.
Yeah. If you know, let us know.
The Dragon Lord's got a plot.
He does.
And it involves something from the past. And it's true. He literally says that. He says it's time to go back to the past. Namely, he's looking for something called the Staff of Bukai, which comes from the olden times and was said to be able to, quote, turn a magic user's spell against him. The Dragon Lord nabs the scepter by some magical means that is unexplained. He just reaches out to Old Man.
Yep.
Old Man River here and just has a tug of war. Like, and dude, this scene reminded me so much of I don't know if you remember this episode of Seinfeld, but like the marble rye episode where Jerry winds up like stealing the marble rye bread from that woman. Yeah. And he says like hand over the bread, you old bag, or whatever he says.
Yes.
Like, and it keeps getting replayed. That's what this reminded me. Give it to me, you old man. Like, reminded me the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. That was the one thing that whenever the ending of Seinfeld came about and they were on trial, that was the one thing I'm like, everything else is like kind of like, you can socially, you can kind of forgive them. But that's irredeemable. Yeah. You can't forgive that, Jerry.
Oh, it costs his dad the presidency of like the homeowners association. In the retirement community. Like he's like one vote away from winning, and it's that old woman that he robbed remembers him. Like it's just the way they play it back. I love how they replay the same clip where he's like, "Give me the rye, you old bag!" Like it's like the same clip. It's like and he just runs with it. It's like so funny. But yeah, it's really funny because before this, the shot of just the old master with the Staff of Bukai looked creepy as shit.
It did.
Did you get a screenshot of that?
So I've got this one. Is this what you're talking about?
That one.
Yeah.
When that thing comes in and it starts rotating, I'm like, yo, that looks dark as fuck. I expected like that dude to turn around and he's like actually a skeleton or some shit. Like that was like really well done. And then when he turns around, it's just some dude in a white wig, and it was not nearly as creepy. But
no. Not creepy, but
the Dragon Lord can reach through time.
Yeah, this set was neat though because it was like dimly lit and everything, and it looked cool. But yeah,
it was.
Your boy with his ponytail just reaches through time.
No,
that's nuts.
He just takes it. He just takes the marble rye.
Yeah,
you want the rye, you old bag. That's basically what he does.
That's what he does.
So he's got it. So back in the lair. Venus comes out of her meditation saying that she senses a disturbance in the chi energy, which Raph kind of correctly calls out, calling her Venus Wandanobi or whatever, or Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Because he basically calls it out. It's like, okay, you mean a disturbance in the force?
Right.
He basically says that.
Like,
pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
And this leads. So the next thing that happens is like Raph starts talking trash because he's just like, I don't accept your whole ass identity.
Right.
Again. Like, it's weird. And this is where I'm going to be a little critical. And you and I will probably come out of here, toasting this episode. But just as I was watching it, this is one part where it started to feel like, okay, guys, like there's not a lot of meat on the bone for this plot line.
Yeah.
So I understand that they are going to still have their differences when it comes to like the mysticism versus the skeptical like side of things with them. I get that we still want to mind that. Venus was raised completely different from them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just going to all of a sudden become 100% allies and not still bicker over this stuff.
Right.
But the minute Raph dug in, I was a little bit like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like Raph's mad. And doesn't like magic for some dumb reason. It's basically just picking on her for no reason.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so then Venus makes her eyes glow green, as illustrated. Like, yeah, this is magic, bitch. And he's like, oh yeah, magic. I fight magic. And you're like, okay, Raph, you're gonna fight her now,
right?
And yeah, no, she completely robo-dopes his ass.
Totally.
Like she just completely like disappears, reappears, busts out this stuff, and Raph looks dumb. And so you see this and you're kind of like, okay, here we go. It's the mystic versus the skeptic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, we're back on that plan now. That's like gonna be this plot line, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, like so Venus robodopes and Splinter rolls up and congratulates Venus for rope-a-doping Raph.
Right.
And asks her kind of like what the story is. Right. How you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's that thing you do? And she's like, I call this the prism. I call this the prism.
The prism.
This one's called the prism. And like everyone's like, oh shit, the prism. Like yeah, no, it's like hardcore. It's like she's about to end this guy's whole career, basically.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so it's called the prism. She uses it, let's see, to bend light and appear as if she's there, but she's not. And then she goes on to kind of say that Raph was like leaning too much on his eyes and not his soul hunting ability. His
third eye. Like I don't know.
Yeah, like the third eye. Like he doesn't he didn't know my chi energy. I'm like,
right,
Venus. That's kind of like you fighting a 5-year-old, though.
Yeah.
Like if you're that aware of the chi energy, and you've been raised shinobi, like you're supposed to take over your dad's like dead ass job,
which was watching a mirror,
which was watching a haunted mirror.
I forgot about the haunted part. Yeah,
the haunted ass mirror that was apparently holding back the Dragon Lord, who we see army. What happens when he shows up places.
Oh yeah,
she was about to take over that job. So yes, Raph's obviously not as lightened as you.
Raph's just a punk kid from New York. That's all he is. He's just a punk kid that can do ninja stuff. That's about it. And yeah, so she's just like coming at him with like all this advanced shit, and it's.
No, I get where you want to raise him up. I get where you're like, well, this is a demonstration that you could learn how to run your third eye plan, and then you could not get fooled.
Yeah,
by charlatans like me. But like, anyway, so it's a little bit like, oh yeah, Raphael trusted his sight, and it's like, yeah, sure he did. I would too.
Yeah.
So would every other turtle. Splinter would be the only one that'd be like, oh, nice trick.
Exactly.
Like, he'd be like, oh, true.
Yeah.
Like, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden Leo steps up because Leo really wants to learn now.
Your boy's eager.
How to use he is like, I'm gonna learn this because that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
And Venus is doing the kind of thing like you ever have. I mean, if you ever played guitar, you've had this. Where like you're playing guitar and someone watches you and they go, "Oh man, I really want to learn that," and you go, "You totally can." Like it takes a lot of practice. You just got to play a lot. You just got to like sit on the couch and hold your guitar and just play it a lot. But like you can play how I play. I'm not a genius. Like you can literally play what I'm playing. Not a problem. And then they go, "Yeah, but not me." And then you go, "No, but you can." And then eventually you kind of give up.
Oh
like,
yeah,
but I couldn't. You're like, maybe you fucking can't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
maybe,
exactly.
Maybe you just can't play guitar. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's kind of what goes down because like Venus does go. No, you can learn absolutely how to use this. But there's a lot of work. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, don't forget this was my whole ass identity.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, don't forget this is my only focus.
Yeah, exactly.
From birth.
Mm-hmm.
I was trained by a master, and I do take notes and follow the instructions in class.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Like,
so
I'm on this plan.
Right. So if you don't get it in the first 5 minutes, that's normal. That's supposed to happen. You're not going to get this in 5 minutes. Like,
oh yeah. No, it's just like archery. It's like, oh man, people show up to the archery shop, shoot like the little cheap bow there and go, oh, I can't hit the bullseye. And you're like, man, I tell you what, like you didn't hit the bullseye after 5 minutes. Like you should probably quit.
You should just stop doing anything. Yeah.
Like I'm still chasing the bullseye, but no, you should quit.
Apparently,
you know what I mean?
Apparently my sister is that way. That I kind of forgot about it. So I was talking to my brother-in-law about this, and he's like, he was telling me something, and I was like, oh yeah, because my sister, she's one of those people that when she does something, she has a lot of things that she's creatively that she's really good at. So when she does something she's not good at, immediately she feels like she'll never learn it and gives it up. And he was like totally giving her some grief for it. He's like, Krista, you've only been doing it for 5 minutes. If I'd failed at everything I tried for 5 minutes, I wouldn't be having a job. Nothing.
Absolutely.
And so the fact that you can do things for 5 minutes and be good at it, that's a good thing. But don't think that's going to happen to everybody at all the time. Yeah. So I didn't think about it the way that you painted it until we just started talking about it like this. That this might be kind of insulting to Venus. that I don't think the
It
turtles
is-
necessarily
it is.
mean it, but or at least Leo and Don and Mike that don't. But
No.
that's her identity. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that
That's her
until
whole
you brought it up,
thing, man.
Yeah,
That's her whole thing. That'd be like if you were like first chair violinist for like the London Philharmonic or some crazy shit, and someone goes,
right.
"I want to learn violin." You go, "Yeah, you can learn violin." They go, "Oh, but I can't play like you." And you're like, or they're like, "Oh, teach me to play like you." And you're like, "I've been doing this since I was 5.
Right. Yeah.
I'm also somewhat talented, so
Yeah.
I don't know if you can play like me."
Exactly.
Right? I don't know that. Like, and it's a little bit like, oh, well, I could do your thing and also do my thing. I want to be good at art too. You're like, okay, cool. Be good at everything.
Now,
like,
do you think that Leo is trying to get closer to Venus through this?
Oh, I didn't really think about it from that angle because they haven't really played the Leo angle since like episode 2 or whatever.
Where he was adamant that they're not related.
Where he's like, we ain't related, so and she's like, I gotta go. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. It felt to me though like he saw her like robodope Raph with like magic tricks, and he's like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I got. He was brought like the power of it, and the flair got him.
And Leo strikes me as a turtle that is generally across all universes. One that there's another art that I can learn, like another fighting style that I can learn to add to my repertoire. So I can kind of see that too, but I also think he's got some other business he's trying to run. He's got something.
I think she's being incredibly patient with him though, because I could see being like, you're gonna have to show me a lot more patience and a lot more. Yeah. Like start meditating when I meditate, like kind of follow my footsteps a little bit, and we'll see if you can handle any of what I'm doing.
Exactly.
You got to show me though a little bit.
Right.
That's what also is almost like teaching someone guitar. Sometimes you're a little bit like, look, I can show you this, but I need you to play. Oh, like I can't like make you better if you don't make yourself better, right?
Precisely.
Like,
yep.
So it's a little bit like that, but like I said, I think we agree. I think she's being pretty cool with them.
Oh yeah.
But it's weird because then and this is what kind of I have a standing critique on the episode just a little bit, and I don't know if any of the Turtletarians, you guys have watched it, or Eric, you feel the same way. But around this point, so Leo wants to learn how to do the chi stuff.
Yeah.
This prompts Michelangelo to introduce Leo and Venus like they're in a boxing ring.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very weird.
Even though this is a lesson, this is like ostensibly a training session that's about to start. And this is what made me feel like this episode didn't have enough script.
Oh, okay.
There's just not enough actual story.
Right.
In this episode, there are, hey, you like your New York City real film establishing shots? Well, this is the episode for you.
Yeah.
Because there's like 4 in between each scene.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a bunch.
Things play for time here. Like this whole scene with the energy and stuff, and like the Raphael fight, and then the Splinter talk, and then Leo wants to learn, and then Mikey introduces them. This feels like we're wasting time. Yeah. Like that. So it starts to feel a little like slow for me. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I get I see where why Mikey did it, but it doesn't need to be there. Like it didn't need to. I mean, comedy, sure, and the fact that Leo's trying to one up Raph as per usual in this series, like he's trying. I understand that, but I do see your point too that it does seem kind of like they're milking this for a little bit more than what's there. So yeah.
We skipped past it because it wasn't very remarkable. There's a gag when the Dragon Lord gets the staff of Bukai, right?
Yeah.
He falls backwards because he's like in the tug of war, and then all of a sudden the old master lets go and he flies backwards and he lands on Wick.
Yeah.
And there's this it's like a minute and a half gag where like Wick is like crushed and he's like, oh, your majesty, thank you for falling on me, and all this shit. It lasts forever before he gets up, and it's like, what? Do you know what I mean? Like, I get it, but like there's that, and now there's the introduction, the boxing interaction. Oh, in this corner we have Leonardo, in this corner we have Venus, and all. And I'm like, these are all just like funny gags that are just, they feel like puff piece for episode that doesn't have much plot.
Especially coming off of the 5-parter that we just did, that seemed
where
for
it's
the
all
most
serialized
part
and
had a lot of the beats hit, and it just kind of worked. Yeah, no, I'm with you on this. Yeah,
this one just feels a little loose, and we'll get more into why. All right, so back in Warehouse Castle, now wielding the staff of Bukai, the Dragon Lord is hyping everybody up. He is, by the way, that's a canon title. He is the Supreme Thunder Lizard, by the way.
Yes.
We haven't heard that title before. His Majesty, the Supreme Thunder Lizard, the first of his name, Dragon Lord. I doubt he's the first of his name. Let's be honest.
Probably not.
With a name like Dragon Lord? What?
Yeah, you can't.
Like, it's like Dragon Lord, like the 10th. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that? So not first of his name, but he is the Supreme Thunder Lizard. So he's got the staff now. He's hyping up Wick, hyping up the rank. He's like, look, and he's going to explain the staff of Bukai to everybody. He says, quote, the staff of Bukai functions as a chi disruptor. When used properly, it can shatter a spell, blow apart a chi pool, and tear the magic user to pieces.
Damn. Yeah.
So pretty powerful artifact. Now, granted, he does early on. There's a caveat. Because before he talks about the staff, he always says it was rumored to, or it was said that it could.
Right.
Like, this will work in later. But I noticed that every time he talks about it, he has a little caveat.
The caveat
in there.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Like ancient lore says.
Yeah.
Or it was rumored to have.
Yes.
Right? The ability to shatter people's souls or whatever he's trying to do.
Yeah. It's pretty neat. I'm curious if he's concerned about the rank doubting him in some way, like that, because the validity of his statements, because of the fact that he was using the little spider with what's the word I'm looking for? Placebo.
It was the junk is junk or whatever.
Yes.
The stuff is junk.
And like,
I wonder
if he's trying to pull that game. Like, he's like, yeah, guys, it said, now you just watched me reach through time and grab this from a man that I don't know if they could see him, but we could. That's
it feels like being in the Dragon Lord's cult is like following Q.
Exactly. Oh my God.
The Dragon Lord's like, no, now this time I'm serious.
Right.
This time I've got the Spider-Man, and this other guy says that we got the serum. It makes you invisible, bro. And or it makes you invincible. You're going to have the invisible serum. You're going to go fight the turtles. Oh, it didn't work. Don't worry. That's bullshit. That's another thing. I got this staff. I got it from the past.
Right.
And it says it's going to... the same thing. It's like, how many dates are going to pass by? You know what I mean? Before I realize the Dragon Lord's like, putting me on one.
Right, exactly. And see, this is the face that he's trying to convince. Like, this is what all the rank look like. Like,
that's a skeptical face.
Yeah,
you gotta really you gotta put some you gotta put some real Pizzagate on him to get him to believe that shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta really knock him through one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's down in that basement looking for shit. You know what I mean? Like, obviously. So this is the hard individual. Unnamed rank lieutenant that the Dragon Lord confusingly gives the staff of Bukai to this individual and then orders the rank to find Venus and use the staff against her.
Right.
And just lets them hit the road. And I'm like, I get that you want to delineate. I understand that you want to pass down tasks, obviously, right? That really feels like something that a magic wielder like the Dragon Lord should be doing himself.
Yeah.
Instead of giving it off to the rank. And they really, I'm not convinced that face, that like latex that's on that dude's face is not just a Star Trek or alien race cast off. I think I've literally seen that face. I feel like I've seen it.
What Trek was on in 96, 7? Would it have been Voyager or Deep Space?
It would have been DS9 and Voyager, I think, overlapping that year.
Yeah. Because there you go. That gives you quite
doesn't that look like
pull from. It does.
It looks a little like a Romulan, but it's not. But it's this other guy.
Yeah.
Like I swear I've seen it.
And they
give it screen time. They were obviously there's a lot of prosthetic work that they had to do for this.
Oh yeah.
This is like a Star Trek level prosthesis job.
It looks pretty good.
Like it looks really good. So they had to give it some screen time. I was a little surprised they didn't give it more screen time.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the episode. because it was a really good job. That'd be hours. That's hours to get into that.
Absolutely.
Really good. Really good. But anyway, everyone gets their 15 minutes.
It's true. So
that's what happens.
So in the lair, Venus attempts to train Leo. She's like, "This is my chi energy." And like, how many times have we met somebody at the club that's like, "Look at my pool. Look at this. You want to swim?"
No, if you're in the club, bro, and you're seeing that, you're like, "Oh, things are going really good."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Real nice.
So if they're just showing you their chi pool like on the first date,
hey bro,
I mean,
bro, check out my chi pool. You're like, whoa,
whoa. So
back that chi up.
Yeah, so she tries handing it off to the others, and it's so weird because they're like, "Oh, it's kind of tingly."
Yeah, it's funny because like Leo, like the other two turtles are like sitting off to the side, like Mikey and Donnie are like, "How's it feel, Leo?" He's like, it's like a sneeze but different." Right.
It's like a sneeze but different.
It doesn't. He's basically describing it. Like everything he says. I mean, I'm just taking down that stream. Everything he says, like kind of tingly, kind of like static electricity, kind of like a sneeze but different.
It totally is.
Yeah.
It's weird, and the fact that I don't know, just everyone watching him, like, oh my goodness, the performance anxiety got me. But it ends up he can't do it. Like it just gets weird, and he can't handle it. And Venus is just like, oh, okay, all right. Well, meanwhile, your boy Raph takes a very testosterone driven ride on the motorcycle to where he mutters to himself. Like all this stuff about like his embarrassment over the loss of Venus and stuff like that, and he vows to pump more iron, which
this was the most like testosterone man reaction to having your ass whipped by a rope-a-dope magic girl. Get on your motorcycle and mutter yourself, "Magic's magic. Magic's no bullshit. You know what I need to do? I need to pump some more iron. Yeah, you screw her, man. Yeah, she sucks." I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
At one point, he's like, "I can't believe she tricked me."
Yeah.
I'm like,
how can you
it's
not?
Just the most... Yes.
Like, this is nothing new.
He got enough testosterone for everybody. It's insane.
You literally watched her kill Shredder with his reflection. Like, how are you blown out by this? Like,
and thank you. That's where this feels a little animated series 87, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it just seems like we reset some stuff. Like you're saying, Raph was front row when she basically said, Orokusaki, look at yourself and die.
And die. Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
But now he's like, "Magic's magic." Oh, well, what's magic? You ain't got magic. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What more do you need to see, Raph?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's it felt like a little bit like an 87 animated series episode in that respect, where we just kind of it felt like we lost ground on what Raph knew of Venus in this episode.
Yeah, it's very weird. I can bright side it or new drink it, if you will, where he's technically they're not teenagers because it's not Teenage Mutant, it's just Ninja Turtles. So I can't really rely on that. But still, if you're just like a young 20-year-old, let's just say that for sake, and you're experiencing like feelings for someone because you interspecies hasn't been working out for you, so like now you have someone who's your species that is the opposite.
You were
sex.
Just recently informed that you can reproduce.
Precisely, yeah. So
growing up your whole life thinking you can't.
Right, exactly. And so I can see that could have something to do with it, but I'm giving the writing on this too much credit because I think you hit the nail on the head that they just didn't have a lot of meat on the bone or on the staff of Bukai. And not a lot on the staff. But again, I want to remind everyone that this is also the same turtle that draws pictures of either Leonardo or Venus on the back of the bike with him. So keep that in mind. That
ride
is
like the wind, bro.
Ride like the wind. And so well, he heads back and starts doing some different exercises, trying to like get pumped up and to where he can punch magic. And your boy Splinter shows up and starts talking to him and giving him a pep talk. Now, I really, really liked this scene.
This is a good scene.
This is I agree. I mean,
this is hallowed ground they're walking into. The Splinter and Raph combo has a rich legacy in TMNT in multiple iterations of the TMNT story.
It does. It does.
So when you see this happen, you're like, okay, you better play this right, because this is important to TMNT lore.
It is. And the lighting's really good on this, and they need to I understand why they show a lot of the bright light. They have a lot of scenes with bright lights and stuff. But these turtle suits and everything looks so good in dark scenes. It just looks really good.
Yes.
And I love it.
They've done well with that. Like the lighting is cool in this show. Like sometimes, like obviously in the layer, I think the layer is too bright. I think they need to bring the layer down to this. If the layer was this dark, it'd be so good.
It would be.
But this is beautiful. The lighting here is awesome.
Absolutely. Well, Splinter's talking about like all this stuff and trying to console Raph and kind of give him some anecdotes that's like, you know, this and that. And he says that two things that I just wanted to pick up. I don't know if this is necessarily a metaphor, but he says that my master played the flute, but I play my own songs now. And I think he's trying to tell Raph that you're not going to be able to do the same things that other people are. You can get to a point, but then you got to find your own like way and stuff.
Yeah. Because I reviewed it again today, the episode. That is the conversation. The conversation basically says like, Hamada Yoshi used to play the flute, and it was beautiful. And I tried to play the flute as well, but I could never play like him. And it was so beautiful, and I made a mess of it.
Right.
And then they talk about other stuff. And he says basically, you can't be someone else. And then Raph's like, do you still play the flute? And he's like, I do, but I play my own songs now. Yeah. It's actually really well written, because it's kind of like, I play my own way. You know what I mean? And you can buy my beats.
You can buy them. You can buy them. Exactly.
I play my own songs now. They're hot fire. Can you imagine? Everyone you go and you listen to it's like Splinter remix audio
and then
tags.
And then it's just flute music. That'd be amazing.
Well, I mean that flute loop, that Beastie Boys flute loop. Don't sleep on that flute loop, bro. It's good shit.
So at this point, the ranks show up in the sewers, and they're just like running around just deep down in there, and they end up like. Basically, Splinter and Raph kind of see them coming and all this stuff. They have a little interaction. Splinter tells Raph to peace out because it's rat time. I think I actually have a screenshot of that. Go. It's rat time.
Yeah.
And so, Raph goes to alert the turtles, and he's not sure about leaving his dad. You know, that's a tough thing to do.
No, it's rough,
especially in the sewers. But it's rat time. So Splinter totally handles these dudes. Like there's no problem here. And he also thanks them for giving an old man such an excellent workout, which I imagine that's not the first time he said that in New York to people in the sewer. So anyway,
I really loved in this scene how they once again, it's a gag, which makes me think there's not enough meat on the bone, but I actually like this gag where he turns his back to them and they start to like creep toward him again, like they're gonna fight him again, and he does the boo and they all run. That's when he says that. Like it's just really funny because he's just like whatever, and like runs away. I'm like, that's so
right.
Good.
It's really well done. And but I think it's funny that these are dragon dudes, like dudes that are like actually dragons, like dragon men. And
yeah, man.
They're scared of an old rat, but which is funny. I say that out loud. However, I'm a grown regular man, and I'm scared of a little rat that doesn't know ninjutsu. So, like, I guess it's not. I'm kind of like just new drinked myself on this. Like that's I can kind of get it. I get it. So,
it's all fun and games until it's right in your face.
Precisely.
That was like last night. I think a squirrel got trapped in Yankee Stadium and was running on top of one of the outfield walls in front of some seats. Not a big deal.
Right.
And there's like a row of like grown ass men, like the kind of guy that be at a baseball game, you figure like wouldn't care about this. Some dude in their like mid-20s, like some bros. And they're all like screaming and like doing their hands like girls because it's running in front of like girls. It's really offensive, but they're screaming and freaking the fuck out. And this squirrel's just running. It didn't jump on them. It's running past the thing, and they're like freaking out about squirrels. And it's like, dude, but I gotta say, it's all fun and games for me to talk about that. I'm gonna flip this around, unless that squirrel was running across my outfield wall, and then I might be screaming the same way.
Right, exactly. I mean, squirrels they're nutty, so you never know.
All fun and games.
All fun and games. So speaking of fun and games, the Turtles, your Turtle Boys, they're cutting some slack because they're on the streets with totally bitchin' dude.
Bitchin' dude.
Like, that's... I don't know what they tried to say.
It's totally Turtle Tude or something like that. I remember like seeing your screen grab and seeing that, and it doesn't sound like bitchin' Tude. I don't know how
it comes off as bitchin' Tude, so I'm gonna stick by that. But but yeah, on the way home from buying some remote controlled planes that they plan to use as spy devices. So yeah, I did not see this plot point coming at all. This was just just glued onto the plot line. Like, I don't understand. That's crazy. What is that? This is bizarre. So yeah, they plan to do this by having Venus coat them in shinobi magic. Basically, they're going to take a dip in her chi pool, apparently. And yeah, she's surrounding the planes with tiny pools of chi magic. And yeah, they plan to fly them through the sewers. And yeah, she can apparently sense what the planes are encountering as they fly, which is just
it's like
nuts.
using her power to know what the planes are encountering.
Yeah.
And then Donnie controls them, but then how can he control without seeing? Because it feels like Venus would control them,
right?
The actual controls on the planes, because she knows where they're at.
Yeah,
the chi energy. That part made no sense. This feels like somebody's kind of like sloppy attempt to, like, step one was Leo trying to actually harness chi energy, and he kind of like couldn't do it, right? Because he was just like, oh my god, I'm about to go, and then it hit somebody else. And then it feels like this is step two, where Leo's like, oh, well, let's try to incorporate some of that chi energy into like a device,
right?
So that we can see how it works more, or we can do whatever. But no one ever like explained it, or you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's
weird.
Super clunky. I want to bring up, so RC stuff is expensive
it really is.
If you don't have disposable income. Now
it's expensive now.
Yeah,
like it's really expensive now. Back then, it was like good RC was really, really expensive.
Right. Like, I don't know how well it works in the sewers. I don't know if it's amplified, but apparently, I mean, who knows what happens in the sewers. But yeah, nevertheless, first of all, how did they get it? Because they went in at night. Did they have trench coats? They go to the hobby store, sure, but like, is the hobby store open late at night? Like, if it's a store that sells like magic cards and stuff, they're probably open late at night to sell, to have like game nights and stuff. But like, I don't know. This looks like 8, 9, 10 o'clock, probably 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Easily.
Yeah. And so I don't know of any store that would still be open that late. Now, I know New York is the city that never sleeps, but they
never sleep. So I mean,
they have to not work sometimes. But nevertheless, let's just say they found one. They go in. Do they have trench coats? Do they? I mean, where's the money coming from? I don't know. It doesn't add up. I need receipts. Turtles, and I don't see it.
Maybe in this timeline, Splinter is not docking their pay and making them pay their weapons back.
Okay.
So maybe they have more like disposable income.
That's true. That could be. And I haven't accounted for all the change in money that falls in the 90s.
When everybody had like a pocket full of change clinking everywhere, every single person, and you go to pull out like something out of your pocket, like a pen or some bubble gum or some shit, and then like $2 in change fall down the sewer grate. I mean, think about all that money. Add that up.
That has to be something. So yeah, so there's
and they had Coinstar back in '97, so they could have run to the Coinstar at night.
That's true. They could have
cash money.
So
minus like 10%.
But speaking of someone else who has cash money, the Dragon Lord, dude, he has to have cash money because he's got that future tech, man. He's got those.
He got that early GoPro.
That early GoPro. He was on the ground floor. He's like, oh, well, I just got here, so let me do some investing. And yeah, he threw some stocks at GoPro and got this shit. Your boy gets like just adorned with this like headband that's got this like GoPro on it, and he's got this duct taped ass monitor screen apparently, and
dude.
So he can see now. Like, this is cool because it makes sense with like. So when you look at 87, at the 87 animated series, Shredder and Krang could just look at anything they wanted to whenever they wanted to, essentially, without any explanation. And so did a lot of other supervillains throughout, in cartoon history. And I really love this because it's like, this is an explanation as to like Oh, how
Yeah,
did he know?
you see him actually do it. Yeah, I appreciate that.
I totally appreciate it. Is it clunky as hell? Yeah, totally is. But and would this technology be like just inconceivably like unaffordable for any normal person? Yes, probably. To work as well as what it does. And yeah. So but then again, we are talking about a guy that just reached through time and grabbed it. So now wow, he could do that. He's like, "Oh, I've also heard about somebody who's making this thing. Let me reach through time and grab this shit."
Yeah.
And then yeah, so that makes sense because they've already established
He
that.
occupies a castle skyscraper warehouse in the middle of New York, and no one has stopped him or moved him out or you repurposed that whole ass building. So I mean, he's got resources.
That's true. That's true. I would love to see the door. Like when you knock on the door, like do they have like a little latch that opens up and like Wick's there and he's like, "Hey, what do you want?" Like, oh yeah,
it's like fire shoots out.
Right. That's actually what.
There's just a bunch
happens.
of ass people with like burned faces, dead in front of the door, and you know, of course, New Yorkers walk past like, "Hey, I'm trying to walk here," and they just like kick the bodies out of the way, like they don't give a shit, and there you go.
Oh goodness. So yeah, so he's got this thing, and he is he's looking at on the rank and everything, and they're talking about how the second squad just engaged the old rat and how they're just getting their asses handed to them, and they're talking about how he's terrifying with the broom handle thingy, and yeah, he's like, "Oh, the rat must possess a powerful weapon," and it's just the broom handle thing,
the broom handle thingy.
And so yeah,
oh, your boy's on the couch in that shot.
Oh yeah, totally. He just laid back.
Well, I don't think he's laying back. It's that sideward angle. They'll do the angle rotation on the camera. It must still be the same DP, but like he looks like he's on the couch, dude, doesn't he?
It does, but also what's weird is that it looks like it does look like Wick is just sitting on his lap, like
he is.
Yeah, that seems weird. That seems weird to me.
There.
Yeah, that just seems
that's a little weird.
A little weird. I mean, that's cool if they've established that they have that kind of relationship, but like, I don't know. And also, he seems a little big to be sitting on his lap.
Yes, he does. And then also think about like the power differential in this relationship.
Oh,
I mean, like,
that's true.
At the end of the day, I mean, I don't think it's totally. I mean, I think Dragon Lord's taking advantage of Wick in a lot of ways because the power is such a power imbalance.
That's true.
What's Wick gonna say? I won't sit in your lap, master. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's true.
Where's Wick's agency in all this?
Yeah, and so they talk about how they have to get some of the broom. They got to get that broom. They got to get some broom.
Yeah,
and they're hoping that she, speaking of Venus, does not have one of those broom handle thingies. And they're essentially talking about his burnt Cheeto. So then what is this? Oh, that's the rank. That's a rank member. So this is like one of your first victims from the plane, and you can see the little dots on there on his chest. That's a plane flying into his chest. So this is them like demonstrating the power to just zap enemies with the chi energy on the move. Just there you go. That's just how it goes.
I love how like the Dragon Lord he's like, okay, put this thing on. He'll be quiet. He's watching, and they talk about like how Splinter whipped the second squad's ass, and then the Dragon Lord just gets to like witness live this like world star hip hop style, like all of his guys getting their ass whipped.
Oh yeah,
he keeps cutting back to the camera. It's like world star, like another guy gets hit, and it's like it's like hilarious.
It is. It's strange, and they used a lot of the same footage though, which is unfortunate, but still, whatever.
Yeah. You only have so many squibs.
Yeah, but So then you got cars honking.
As the cars honk, the world turns. You know what I'm saying? The Dragon Lord shows up in a nearby alley to kiss and make it all better, baby. Like he's just like, look. It's like almost It looks so eerie. That almost looks like a day for night shot, doesn't it? Almost.
It does.
It's lit.
It does.
It's weird. So Wick says, Majesty's here to kiss it and make it all better. And he's like, yeah. And Dragon Lord's basically like, yeah, I shouldn't have trusted this, even with a GoPro rig. Like, you guys can't handle this shit. Like you didn't even use the scepter one time. You just got your butt whipped by a broomstick, which I mean, they'd never seen the old dirty Cheeto before. They didn't know about burnt Cheeto, so they didn't know what to call it. You know what I mean? And then so that burnt Cheeto got him, and then they get hit with the damn spy planes that shouldn't work. And he's like, I'm gonna come here and try to fix this. So he recognizes that the mechanical bird that these rank were all worried about were just toys, and they're coated in chi energy. The cool thing is that because he has Venus's chi energy on these things, he can use the Staff of Bukai to literally reverse search Venus in real space and draw her ass straight to him, and that's exactly what he does.
That's
he's like,
kind of cool.
He's like, I'm a star 69, your number, bitch, and he did that, and he goes and like grabbed her and pulled her right back.
That was
so he uses that Staff of Bukai star 69 and gets her and pulls her back.
I kind of loved that because it felt like a 80s horror kind of thing.
It did. Like, it had that feeling to it. You could be thinking of 80s horror like Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, where Emperor Palpatine used Force lightning to do things to people, and that's another thing that they do here. Because when we finally get the confrontation, like it's Venus and the Rank and Wick and and Dragon Lord and whatever they call him, Myrtle the Turtle, which is annoying. She probably didn't appreciate that.
No.
And the turtles show up in this super swag way, which I appreciate. Where they just like walk up, like, what do you want to do later? I don't know, kick the Dragon Lord's ass. That's right. Then they drop the disguise, like mega shellage, and you have like it's the big fight. Okay.
Right.
So you have the big fight, and the whole time the big fight's happening, of course, Dragon Lord ain't fighting because he's got the Staff of Bukai and he's waiting.
Yeah.
He's waiting for Venus to use her chi magic. Because the second she does, he can basically shatter her soul with the Staff of Bukai. So he's like, just use the goddamn magic. But she's roping open people just fine without the magic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So she finally does use the magic. He, this scene's all right. So the episode's been going on a while. This is the other problem. The episode's been going on a long time now. And you're like, we're just at this fight. But now you realize that the episode's got like a minute left.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Wait, so you had Mikey introduce everybody like boxers. You had the whole, I fell back on Wick. Like that was a minute and a half of, and you could have put that on this end.
Yeah.
Because what happens is effectively, I'm sure in the script it meant to be more of an epic battle, but Venus just starts to use chi energy.
Yeah.
He gets the Staff of Bukai and goes, no, you don't, bitch. And he basically they have like the little force war thing where it goes back and forth.
Right.
He eventually quells down her chi energy, leaves her, broken in the dirt, just laying there.
Yeah.
He basically makes a statement about like, now this is my revenge on the shinobi for imprisoning us. And I was like, really? The shinobi imprisoned you? That's new lore. I didn't know that. I thought, okay, well, I'll put that in the old card file here. The old spank bang, old card catalog. I'll be like, there we go. Like, yeah. So I guess the shinobi did imprison the dragon race. That's cool. And he's gonna kill her, and she just chi energy hulks out. She she literally does the Hulk thing where it's like, oh, arm up, no, arm up.
Oh, you're talking about Hulk Hogan thing, yes.
Arm the Hulk, and then all of a sudden, he comes up, he hulks out, and he's just slapping his own chest, and you can't hurt him and shit. Like that's basically what she does. She hulks out. She kicks out on 3. And she gets out, and then she literally just pushes her chi energy and warps them all the way to hell, which is actually the murder castle warehouse place.
Right.
And makes them show up there.
Yeah.
And like a little anticlimactic, like just because like for a second he's using the red force energy to hurt her.
Yeah.
But not long.
Yeah, it's very quick.
Turtles are like, bro, she's getting fried, bro. And then it comes back to her, she's like, there will be no revenge. And she like shoves the power and then warps them the fuck back home. And I'm like, that was it?
Yeah.
That was the Staff of Bukai, eh? You know what I'm saying? Sure, JFK Jr. is going to be president next week. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same shit. I'm like, okay, cool. So then they warp back. And obviously, Staff of Bukai ain't what it's supposed to be. So the turtles it cuts back and forth too. The turtles pick themselves out of the dirt and they go walking away. Splinter makes it funny. It's all good.
Yeah.
And then the Dragon Lord just unceremoniously opens the time portal, gives that old man the Staff Bukai back, and he's like, you know where to stick this shit. I'm like, oh my God. And that's it.
That's it.
He gives him the Staff Bukai back. I don't understand.
Why did he give it back? I love that he did it. I love that he did
why
it.
It's
but
very,
I don't know
very
why.
impetuous to give it back. I'm a fan of it, actually. It doesn't make logical sense, because why wouldn't you like keep it? Be like, well,
Yeah.
Maybe I'll find a use for this thing one day. He's like, no, I'll give it back to history.
Yeah. That's how much
but
I
only
hated
it
it.
Sucks. Yeah.
Like he's got like the biggest house
Only
in New York.
sucks.
And he's like,
Yes.
I've got this powerful relic. Even if it didn't do exactly what you wanted it to do, it did something. So, like, I don't know. This makes no sense, but I just love that he put it back. It's so terrible, but I love that he gave it back. So good.
Yeah, he did. He gave that
Just
old man
nah.
back. You can take this shit back. This thing sucks.
Yeah, that.
Which is kind of funny. Because it does. I hadn't thought of this until you said it. It really opened my eyes up.
Yeah.
By the way, I want just a print of this hanging in my house. Just this shot.
That shot.
That's cool as shit. That's cool as shit, man.
That is
unexplainable.
That is.
What is that? I don't know.
What is
like,
it?
Like you figure it out. I hadn't thought of it, but yeah, no. When you said earlier that like that the Dragon Lords like kind of smoke and mirrors a lot, that really made sense with this episode. Like you said, I don't know if the writing, if they were like if they like master plan this or not. If like the whole thing about, well, I guess we'll see in future episodes. If like the Dragon Lord's whole thing is that it's actually all usually just bullshit. Like it's not actually real. Like none of this shit actually works.
Right.
But it is funny because it. Yeah, I really hope they play that up.
I do too.
I really hope they play up the fact that he doesn't have anything.
Yeah,
really.
he's all talk.
You know what I mean?
I love that, and
that'd be so good.
What's cool about that is that it gives him it could work both ways. That it's all talk, but like sometimes it could work the other way where it like actually works in his favor. Like the fact that there's nothing definitive means that there's a 50-50 chance that it could work the other way. And so I really appreciate that because it gives a little bit of like excitement to this thing instead of it being like an end all be all kind of like we actually have to overcome this. Actually, no, we just have to circumvent it very quickly or not even just put up with it, tolerate it for a half a second. And then,
the staff did have the power. Like it did stuff. It did yank her out of the sewer.
Yeah.
It did. It did like cancel out it basically blew her entire chi pool apart. It did that. And then it started like Emperor Palpatine shocking the shit out of her. I mean, like it may have ostensibly killed her at some point. She was just more powerful than it.
Right.
Effectively.
Right.
Which
I mean,
I guess she's really good.
She's good, and that's what she's proven. I mean, that's what the writers have told us, and they said we can count on them, or at least the Turtles
that's what they told us.
And I watched this and I thought it was okay. And then when you said what you said about the writing, that it just this is the first one
This is the first one that
6 episodes. That, I was like, this wasn't getting it. I love so. What did we love? I love the Dragon Lord reaching in, grabbing the artifact. I love that an artifact is a part of this.
Stealing, yes, the fact that him stealing the marble rye was definitely a great part of the episode.
Absolutely, and then him giving it back is fantastic. I love the GoPro stuff. I loved the Splinter Raft talk, but like
that itself might be the actual peak. That might be the highlight of the episode. That conversation.
Yeah. And so I enjoyed all that, but and this was the first time we've seen Michelangelo go back to making a joke like that's kind of like sort of inappropriate. Not really. It was because he makes a joke about the chi pool and not having trunks, so don't peek. But that's not. It's not like saying don't look at my dick. It's like just or my front tail. It's just just don't look, which is fine.
Yeah,
he might be insecure about
he says don't take a peek unless you can't help yourself, and then she goes, "That's disgusting, Michelangelo."
Exactly. So which that led me to believe that it's
true.
less
He
about
went back
being
to that,
insecure.
but that was minor
thing.
That was minor,
and it kind of makes sense. Like if you're gonna make a joke about a pool and like things like that, that I guess it kind of works. It didn't seem like a long walk for it.
No. And that's also for the boys too.
Yeah.
Like you would make that joke. He'd make that joke to Leo.
Yeah.
Venus wasn't.
Oh, that's an excellent point.
Like that's one for the boys.
That's
like
true. That is great.
Everybody goes like, "Hey man, don't look at my dick unless you want to." Like that. That's just a thing. Yeah.
Everyone.
So
my dad does.
I didn't see.
That's how my mom. That's how actually I got here is because my dad said that.
True.
My mom said,
"Your dad's like, well, I'm about to go skinny dip. Don't look at me unless you can't help it."
Right.
She goes, "David, that's gross," and then she did it.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
You
Real
guys got
story.
magical powers.
He does.
Yep.
It's all in the mustache. Used to be in the glasses, but no, he got contacts or something. But yeah, I really hope that we see more artifact stuff. I always love artifact things. Like
I'm down with that. Yeah,
that's a fun thing for me because it kind of builds the world a little bit, and I enjoy that. And I enjoyed the Dragon Lord of the Ranks stuff. Like I enjoyed what they did here because something about them and like the way that they did it was fun and entertaining. But like I don't know, all the turtle stuff was just a little flat for me on this. And
yes, and that's the best way to put it is that the episode felt flat. It's not to say it's bad.
Right.
That's a difference.
Yeah.
There are, and 87 people cover your earmuff for the next couple of seconds. There are it almost feels like seasons worth of the 87 animated series is just bad. It's just bad. Like it's just bad. It's not thoughtful writing. It's bad writing. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Sometimes things happen. You're like, okay, cool. Again, it's unimaginative sometimes, stuff like that. But that's not what this is. This was just flat, not bad, and that's a difference. It's almost like. No, it's solid. It's got no bells and whistles, and it's a little skimpy on the bone. You know what I mean? Everybody gets that chicken wing. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, that's a nice chicken wing. Oh, there's another chicken wing. And you look at that skinny boy, like, I'll save him for the end. And then you keep eating the bigger chicken wings. That's basically what this episode is. It's the one that floated to the end of the bowl, and you're like, okay, I'll eat him. Like, it's fine. I'll finish off with this guy.
Right.
So it's just a little flat. It does go back in time a tad on the, or not really back in time, but it sees a reset on Raph, which I didn't 100% appreciate.
Yeah.
However, Raph's also the most bullheaded of the turtles. If anybody was going to have like a continuing problem and not be able to figure it out for a few times through and make the same mistake again, it would be him, frankly. Right?
That's true.
Like, so that. If you want to wrap it like that, you could probably butter knife it and say like, well, Raph would keep banging his head against the wall. Like he still hasn't gotten the actual full lesson. And like you're saying, the Raphael Splinter discussion was really good. And the minute that Splinter walked up on him, I was like, okay, we're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm really paying attention.
Right.
And it was really well written and I liked it for that. But yeah, just a little flat, not weak and bad, but just flat and maybe a little skimpy.
Agreed. And like, I think that they're going to come back to the pool, the chi pool. I definitely think they're going to so that redeems it a little bit for me that this is at least in the realm of like them going to continue to discover the differences and what they can learn from each other in this series, and that's really cool. And then it's nice to see a callback to booty calls. That Donatello.
Yes, I didn't mention that, but he's booty call.
Like, another booty call, and so that's now Turtles canon.
You know what it is? Earlier episodes, those were plump booty calls.
Oh, that's true. Now
this episode, he just says booty call, and that's what this is. This isn't a plump booty call. This is just a booty call.
Exactly. Absolutely.
The best way to describe it. Donnie did it himself.
Did it himself. Dunn did it himself. Man. Well, guys, what did y'all think of this? Did you enjoy this? Did you think this is a plump booty call or just a regular booty call? We want to know.
Give me booty call, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? turtlesoupshow@gmail.com, and let us know in the comments below as well what you think and where it rates on your booty call spectrum. And if we got anything loud or wrong, definitely let us know about that too. And if we missed anything, certainly let us know that. You can also find us on the home of the internet, turtlesoup.com. That's all the episodes are up there. We're also here on YouTube where we're talking and performing, I guess. Usually every Thursday if life doesn't happen. But we're here forever after they're made. So, you have that option too.
Yeah, they're always going to be around.
Always going to be around. So there's that. And we're on the social medias, all that fun stuff. So just search for Turtle Soup Show and you'll find us. And then we're on Patreon. So if you want to keep us from saying clang and make sure that we can keep answering your booty calls, be sure to do that. Go to Patreon. We've been making a podcast. And I can't tell if Ryan's just, okay, oh my gosh, you froze. I don't know if you froze or if you just held your picture like held your like you just like stood really still, but my heart just skipped a beat because I thought that like, oh my gosh, you did it again! Stop doing it! Oh my god!
We used to do that really early. Remember that show? That was so fun.
Yes, that's terrifying. I already feel horrible about the news segment. I feel so bad about this, and then that's happening. I'm like, oh gosh, did I mess up something again? Oh no, is he gonna hit me? Is he gonna get me with that Cheeto? And so I'm so like nervous that it messed up again.
There's a joke I would say. You just can't say jokes anymore. There's a joke I would say about a ceiling fan and how I was maybe tied it up and now I'm gonna tie it now.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna
just like back it up. Yeah.
Jesus. So yeah,
I didn't say anything. You don't know.
No,
what
you
I'm
did.
talking
I
about.
didn't know. I didn't know what you were going to say.
I turned my ceiling fan up and then I turned it down again. I mean,
turn the radio off. And then some lady was singing your song. Love is coming.
I realized that I move a lot, and whatever. I think that the reason I do almost is to avoid you thinking I did that.
Oh,
like
really?
that I froze. Yeah.
Oh, well, I certainly appreciate it because when you
Or
don't,
I'm just a little
thinking,
fidgety too. Because
my heart starts beating fast. I'm like, oh shit, I got to keep talking and see if I can
I
fix
messed
it.
at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I'm like,
Ryan's gonna quit the podcast.
Well, yeah, we got to start
Ryan's
over.
not gonna be my friend anymore, bro.
We got to go from the top, like Em always wants us to do. You know, we got to just start it over.
Oh
goodness,
yeah, shit. But I heard Ryan wants to fight you, man.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Oh goodness. Well, hey, if you want to fight us again, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. And guys, thanks so much for watching. We're gonna be back. I'm not sure about next week, but we're gonna come around with some more episodes. And
next week I'll be getting in from Chicago. So
so it'll be weird. But
probably not next week. Maybe a little chef special something. Maybe because I'm getting back earlier in the day. Like I'm getting back like noon to get back. So maybe like a chef special, something fun. But
yeah.
I'll probably be like worn out from that.
But I will tell you this, that I did get a little sneak peek of the next episode, and it's going to be really fun. And I think you're not going to want to miss that.
Okay.
It's going to be really neat.
All right.
I am super excited about it.
Early work. Okay.
Yeah. I did a little bit of early work.
I'm excited.
I think we're going to love it, and we're going to have a blast with it. So it's going to be bananas. So guys, again, thank you so much for watching and listening and everything. We really appreciate you. And we'll, I don't know what we say at the end. Else time.
Else time.